Gabrielle.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk first. Lay the groundwork. How did you come to meet Larry? Talk me through your relationship.
So I did this movie years ago. You guys might be familiar with it. It's called Bring It On. And I did the movie with the singing group Black. And while we were filming the movie, they were still gigging. So they had to do, I think it was like a car show, kind of near the Tijuana, San Diego border. And we get to the car show, and it's a good time, but it could be more fun. And I was like, we're gonna get a drink around here. And that's when Larry piped in.
Who was that? Yes, that.
Pick me. So we've been locked in ever since.
Literally, Larry was like, oh, find your watching. And so we've been very close since then. And when he segued from dancing, because Larry was dancing. Larry was a professional dancer. All those iconic Missy videos, feel free to go back and look. Stomp the Yard. I don't want to go through all of your movie credits, but no, he was like a professional giggy dancer, iconic. When he decided to segue into becoming a hairstylist, I was one of the first people to give him a shot.
You guys just clicked.
Yeah.
Do another take on the story, Larry. This is about how it sums it up.
No, it's completely accurate. And what I do have to say is that when you lay a foundation in just truth and honesty and friendship, you never know where that's going to take you. And at the time, I didn't know. I didn't have the desire to be a hairstylist, but I'm really good. I didn't want to look up to be 40 auditioning for Britney. So, at the ripe age of 27, I decided to transition. And to her point, she definitely was already the Gabrielle Union that the world loves, and I was a newbie in the industry, and she gave her friend a shot, and the rest is history.
No. I mean, well, me and the other people that gave him a shot. You might have heard of them, the Beckhams. That iconic cut that, I shouldn't call it hot. Victoria. I mean, because these are the other people that were like, sure, here.
It was Gab, it was Victoria, by way of Kim Pavis. I was assisting him, I was dancing for Jessica Simpson. For the People's Choice Awards we did, those boots on me for a walk, and you can go back and look at that too. And anyways, I was introduced to Ken, and he brought me under his wings. And a couple years later, introduced me to Victoria. We created the Bob, and that really set the tone for the trajectory of my career. Along with Queen Latifah, who's also a great friend of ours too. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, these are all the best names. This is so fun. Gabrielle Union. You have to say your full name. Before Larry, what was your experience? Were you looking for somebody who knew your hair, or were you looking for somebody if you weren't satisfied? What was your experience? Were you a beauty junkie?
I was a beauty junkie, but also very clumsy. So I wanted all the trends, but no clue how to keep it on me. And all the people I loved, so did huge pop stars. So loved Kim Kimball, so did Beyonce. One of us lost those battles. So everyone that was hot and amazing, those music people that had the big budgets, we're Black actresses, we got $2. So it was hard to really have consistency in who did our hair. So when I started working, if you didn't come to work done, you're gonna look crazy. Go back and look. I look nuts. For a lot of that, for a big chunk of the first few years of my career, I look nuts. Because they do not. We're still working on this. For all the diversity that has come to Hollywood, we have not matched that diversity in the hair and makeup trade yet, unfortunately.
Yes, you were a little bit about that before in another panel. That ability to do all hair types and textures, it's lacking out there. Larry, do you owe this to your success? Because maybe you did have that experience where others did not.
Yeah, the great thing about my experience is that along with Gab and Latifah, what Victoria did was she opened up this narrative of, wow, there's this Black guy that is running around with the Beckhams, and he actually knows how to do hair that is not textured hair. And it's really hard because at the same time, after Victoria, I still became pigeonholed because a lot of the Black girls started calling me. So, even when you are familiar and really attuned with the textured experience, it kind of goes both ways. Meaning like, I typically, or people like me, are typically being hired to go on the set to do real strip. You know what I mean? But at the same time, Black actresses have had to deal with people that are on the trailer that don't have the skill set as I do, because a lot of the department heads and the gatekeepers are hiring their friends. So it's just a really difficult business to navigate through. But Gabrielle was one of the first people to make it known and to put it out on once you tweeted about it, and other actresses started vocalizing their same sentiment. It became a very big conversation. And there is an organization that I'm a part of called Black Beauty Roster. And what they do is they want to equip movie production companies and all of the studio heads to have some place to go to pull the talent, whether you're Black, white, or in between. And they also want to give the education to stylists that aren't Black to be able to cater and nurture textured hair so that actresses are taken care of.
What did that tweet say? What year was that?
That's a good question. I tweet a lot. I've got a lot of hot takes over the years. But I mean, there was a bunch of us talking about our experiences in Hollywood and on hair and makeup trailers, and walking in and someone sprays your hair with, an alcohol-based product and was like, let's use some heat. And you're like, and you leave a project with bald spots. You leave a project with half your hair gone. And you don't feel nurtured. And you're forced to spend extra money, extra time to come to set done when the other actors don't have to do that. And it's an expense because we get paid the least as well. But we have to spend the money to make sure that we look decent on screen in the right time. Yeah.
And that support that maybe you were getting on social media where others are sharing the sentiment and the same frustrations, is that what informed your decision to launch a brand of your own?
Yeah, because I hate the term celebrity brand. For our company, yes, my name helped us get through the door and find investors. But that's kind of where it ends. You don't have an endless well of money. So when you come out the gate successful, like we did, selling out, if you don't have an endless supply of money, you cannot refill orders over and over and over again when your minimums are 25,000 a SKU. And if you sell out 10 SKUs, but you haven't been paid for the first sellouts because they're supposed to pay you within 90 days, but we all know those payment periods. Now you're waiting on money to come in, but you've got to spend it to make sure that you're not sold out too long. All of that kind of went into relaunching Flawless, making sure that it's not a celebrity brand, it's a celebrity that gives a shit.
Yeah.
Because nothing is over $10, $11. We narrowed the profit margin. I understand that there is a need and for high quality products with great ingredients that are not going to harm you or the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And we narrowed our profit margin. And that's where we differ from a lot of celebrity brands where it's the celebrity that's supposed to make you feel special. We put it all into the products. We put it all into do these work. I'm not trying to create a solution and entice people out of the solution to line my pockets with your need. And Larry and I are in lockstep with that. So for us, Flawless is about meeting the community where we're at with great products at great prices. And if I can use my name to help you know about it, awesome. But I will not sacrifice efficacy, affordability, and accessibility because of my brand and where people think I should. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. I need to be where the people are, and that's just how this celebrity brand works.
That is refreshing. You wanted to do it? Why did you know you wanted to do it with Larry?
He's the best.
Yes.
Okay, he's the best, and he's also one of my best friends. He is responsible for all of these looks. Why would I cut out? Like, you know what I mean? I want you to be a part of everything. And when I had aligned myself with another company that was all about the rape and pillage of the community that needs these products the most, and just jacking up the prices and putting them in stores that demonize and criminalize our customer, I knew that wasn't what I wanted. So I waited till that deal died. And when I was able to start it over with me being in control, I was like, I'm not doing this without him. He is the brains. He is the brawn. He is the brains. And he has the experience, the know-how, the knowledge, and he's my best friend in the world. So why wouldn't I?
But what I do have to say that she's leaving out, and this is to show you how much of a real one she is. So I had a deal with Schwarzkopf. It was a 10-year run. I was a spokesperson for Smoothie Shot initially that no longer exists, but then they brought me over to Got to Be as well. And it was such an amazing run that we had, but I knew that run needed to end at some point. And when Gabrielle talked to me about coming on to Flawless, we had a gap in between time before we could really figure out our investors and that sort of situation. She not only asked me to be a part of it, to help develop it, but to be an equity owner in it as well. And she also came out of her own pocket to pay me to figure out the deal for a year. She didn't have to do that. I would have done it without that. She offered that. But that's how much integrity she has, and that's how much heart she has in terms of caring about people and her relationships, and also being a stand-up business person. So I couldn't imagine doing this with anybody else, and it was an immediate yes, to say the least.
How does that bad? Like you're talking about maybe a face of the brand or an ambassadorship type of a relationship with the brand. You did not to be afraid of your own empire and why not? It could.
Well, I mean, here's the deal. Like the Larry Sims brand was on the horizon after being locked in with Schwarzkopf for so long. But after, here's the deal with Flawless. Not only is it a partnership with one of my best friends, but there's so much emotion attached to it. And Gab can speak more about this. But during the talk of the relaunch, she was going through multiple rounds of IVF, and it was affecting her hair. It was during the time that we were shooting Dear Mary Jane. So, and you can talk more about that, but it became more about a mission for not only for us to create a quality line of products that were accessible and affordable no matter what your social economic status was. It was about us finding a solution for one of my best friends, and she was losing her hair as she was going through her IVF journey. So the Larry Sims of it all, that can happen if I ever do it. I really don't feel like I need to necessarily because of all of the blood, sweat, and tears and passion that we've done with Flawless. So I don't know if you want to talk about your IVF journey, but
that was a big impetus because as we were trying to relaunch, I got hair. Right. You couldn't come out of that. And I'm an actress. Face forward. How do you sell hair products if you get hair? And it was hard. And so as we're developing, it's we need to find ingredients that can help me grow my hair back, and when it does grow back, keep it there. So it was it just became a very personal project. And as we found success, we were okay, other people are going through this as well. Whether that's postpartum, perimenopause, menopause, all the other reasons that people might, lose their hair. How can we be a part of the solution at an affordable price?
You're not squeezing people for their money. You have a personal approach. You talked about the expense of it all. Was fundraising for the relaunch, like a new piece of the pie? Like we're gonna go into it kind of ready to go?
Well, the manager that I had at the time, we're no longer working together. He had lined up, two gentlemen from overseas that donated our initial round of money. But again, they were like, there is an end game to my investment. And when we became really successful very quickly, there was this idea, we should expand. But the thing about expansion is you have to pay for marketing everywhere you expand to. And there are minimums that you have to have at every single place that you have your products. That all costs money. And when there is a finite amount of money, being very successful is not actually helpful, especially in the beginning. When they're like, where are you gonna get this other money from? I'm like, I'm a Black actress! Okay, and we had to figure it out on the fly a lot. We're still figuring it out on the fly. But the way that we have figured it out moving forward is partnerships.
Yes.
And again, I have not made not one dime off of Flawless, and we've made millions. Everything goes back into the company, back into the people who do the job every single day to make the company successful. And I'm okay with that because this was never about lining my pockets. This is about providing a need. And the best way I can keep meeting the need is partnerships. So we are very excited about a partnership that is legally being worked out right now, we will announce very soon, that we're very excited about, where Larry is able to impart all of his knowledge. It's about the education. It's not about, you gotta go to Larry Sims, which he's awesome, but can Larry Sims spread that knowledge to up and coming hairstylists, aspiring hairstylists, people in beauty school still, and leave a lasting legacy?
Yeah. And you asked me why I don't have a Larry Sims line just right now. The Larry Sims line is the Gabrielle Union, Flawless by Gabrielle Union line. Like, you see how much you have to go through just as an entrepreneur and a business owner? Like, what I understand just as a hairstylist is that our partnership, we're greater in numbers. You know what I mean? So I'm able to cut the red tape. If I decided to ever do it on my own, or if I had decided to do it on my own, I just know that I wouldn't have gotten to where we have gotten together collectively, just in terms of the knowledge of the business and the trial and errors. And it just is like, if you're an entrepreneur out there, if you get the opportunity, just know that it doesn't always have to, you don't have to gatekeep it to yourself. You're greater in numbers sometimes, a lot of times, and this just proves that for me and her in particular.
For sure. Well, you guys are very influential in yourselves, and the story is so personal. Does it make sense for you to also work with quote unquote influencers beyond your influential selves?
Yes.
Yes. Tell me about that influencer strategy.
I mean, when we can afford it,
Yeah.
when we can afford it, we absolutely do. And we were working on this initiative before where we wanted to give equity to influencers who truly believe in our brand ethos, to be an part owner of the company, because it's not about me, I'll try. It's about providing products for our community that need them desperately. And if you are aligned with that mission, we're aligned with you. And we try to do that with not just Flawless, but with Proudly Itzy's, where we, I like to repurpose problematic rap lyrics. Ain't no fun if the homies can't have me. This is not how we want to get rich, right? This is how we enrich our community.
Yeah.
And we cannot do that without the creator community and the influencer community. And it's about finding people who are aligned with that mission, who want to rock with us.
It's so good.
Yeah, and we found great ones, quote unquote.
You have partners and influencers. You were talking about taking off to selling like hotcakes. Would you say that retailer partners, where are you sending now, and why do those partners make sense?
Yeah, we started off as a little engine that could. Just to give you some insight, we had done the work, we had met the investors, we had done the packaging, we had taken a year and some change to really develop the core line before we launched, and then bam, the pandemic hit. So we had a lot of extensive conversations about when do we launch? Is now the right time to launch? Is it a very sensitive time to launch? Or can we be a solution for people who have uncertainties in terms of financially with like where their money is coming from? And because of our price point, we launched 3 months into the pandemic. And we started off on Amazon only. And then we were able to grow into Sally Beauty. And then from Sally Beauty, we went into Walmart, it was Click South Africa, with Shoppers Mart, CVS. So we've had multiple retail partners, and they've been very successful. But to Gab's point, with those retailers comes a cost that you have to pay you have to pay to play. You know what I mean? So we've gotten to the point in our business where, to her point, we're gonna be talking about a new collaboration that we have with a big retailer that we're really excited about. That will change the narrative, and I'm really excited to be able to talk about that because it'll give people more insight and education on how this can all play out and how it worked out for us.
For sure. Well, a lot of innovation happening here in terms of the products and the ingredients and the effectiveness of it all. Larry, how are you incorporating Flawless into your work with other clients? Like, is this just life-changing for a creative professional?
Yeah, the great thing about my clients is that a lot of my clients are friends with Gab. So they're very generous with being able to post them and tag them on Flawless. I mean, because it wasn't always like that. I have a couple of clients where I would post, it wasn't Flawless. Everybody that I've posted and have used Flawless on for award shows and red carpets, they've given me high fives. But when I was with Schwarzkopf, I did get called out on a couple tags for the products. They're like, can you please take that down? We don't want our client to be associated with, because then it becomes, you don't want people to feel like you're exploiting them, you know what I mean? And you don't want people to feel like you're not aligning what their PR team's purpose is with, deals that they may have on the table. But Flawless has been across the board, a bunch of high fives, and everybody's been really supportive.
Sign me up. I love that. Well, what can you tell me about, I have to ask about Lift to Speak Climb. Should I get that correct? Tell me about the importance of launching that and affiliating that with the brand.
Yes, Lift to Speak Climb is exactly what it sounds like. As we rise, we want to bring other ideally Black female-owned companies along with us. We want to highlight you on our pages. We did a big an event last year where we wanted to award a brand with $75,000 when we needed it. Can we enter? But that's who we are. We again, this isn't a get rich quick scheme. This is about community building and putting other people on. And if we have the platform, and if we can get money from other corporations for that goal, let's try to make it happen. And we did it. And we do that often. We highlight brands on our pages. We might do a little video about how the brands work or how we love them. But it's about, rising tides, rise all ships. And it literally does not hurt you. I promise you, putting somebody else on is not going to sink what you have going on. It just makes you rise higher.
And I just have to say this because I'm going to always give her flowers. Before Flawless existed, she always does. I don't know if anybody follows Gabrielle. Y'all follow Gabrielle? Right. So she does Women Crush Wednesdays. And what she's always done is highlight and showcase different women from all aspects of life, that are actresses, that are athletes, models, writers, publishers. She's a best-selling author, and this is where her heart is. So it was easy for us to do Lift as We Climb because she was doing the work prior to that on her own page. So that's just, it's the sentiment of who this woman is.
Good job. Gabrielle, tell me about your growth strategy overall. It seems like Owen said, you wins the race. I feel like you're being very thoughtful in your next step.
Now we are. Listen, it's a lot of trial and error. When you taste success, you're like, yes, let's multiply it. But ultimately, we can't afford to multiply it at the rate that the demand was. And we just couldn't keep up with that.
Okay.
Our growth strategy is partnership. Our growth strategy is linking arms with other like-minded folks. And as we rise, they rise. As they rise, as we rise. That is really where we're at. And also with education. When we're able to make the announcement, it all kind of makes sense. But in growing, we had to look back. What were some of those salons that we remember from our childhood? And how can we make that salon experience better for the next generation? How can we better educate those stylists? How can we better educate the salon owner on all types of products, not just our own? How can we bring other brands along with us in changing the salon experience to where we are now? I am like that sucker, and maybe I'm not a sucker, I'm just a great, buyer. I'm on TikTok all the time, buying things. I hear about it, I watch your videos, I'm like, yes, I need this. But I want to be able to create sustainability for those companies and for those creators. Because if it works, I want people to know about it. I want it to be available. Why would I gatekeep the solution? We all need the solution. So this upcoming partnership allows us to be more nimble, allows us to lean more into innovation, but also into the salon experience and what meets the customer. Am I saying? I'm being very cagey, but hopefully we can announce it very soon. And it's very exciting. But selling without education, I think, is a solution.
Yeah, this will be for sure. I'm so excited to see what you guys are up to. I also have to ask, Larry talked about tagging brands. I mean, a lot of the founders today talked about being kind of tactful about talking about their brand versus other brands versus their other projects. How do you go about sharing Flawless on your channels, for your social following?
Oh, we're tired. We're tired. I mean, listen, I could be posting about Burberry or Tiffany, other brand partnerships that I have. It's gonna be Flawless right there. If I'm eating some Bitsy's, I'm gonna tag Bitsy's. If I'm using some all over balm by Proudly, I'm gonna tag Proudly. They all go together to me. And luckily my brand partnerships believe in the same. You don't have to, if my brand is so narrow that it's not wide enough or inclusive enough to include everything that I touch, then maybe I need to rethink what my brand is.
And then what I will say also is that what Beyonce did with Sacred, with inviting us to the launch, and Taraji and so many others, Mael, it was just a beautiful experience. When we launched Flawless, Tracy posted about us, Taraji posted about us. So we also believe that there's enough room for all of us. There's so many seats at the table, and we celebrate and uplift all of each other's brands. So we love being able to do that and just show that
One more question. Just your goal for the brand. In 10 years, where will we be?
I want it to be the people's brand. I want to be able to involve so many influencers, lovers of the brand, into ownership. Again, ain't no fun without me can't happen. I want to see it grow as big as our imaginations are, while still staying true to our ingredient story, still staying true to our consumers, listening, humbling ourselves constantly, reevaluating constantly how we can do better by our community and by our customers. Great times.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
Treacle? Yeah.
absolutely. I think she hit it over the head. I mean, and also just making sure that, unfortunately, what happens with a lot of these businesses is that you reach a level of success, you sell the business, and then you sell to a corporation that changes the foundation of why it became hugely successful. And we have bonded with saying that we would never do that. No matter where Flawless goes in terms of success, we will always make sure that it's authentic and true to what got us to where we are today.
help.
Gabrielle, Barry, thank you for being here.